Hi everyone, my name is Madison and thank you for joining me for this very special story time for RMIT Pride Week. Before I begin, I would like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nations, who are the traditional owners of the land that I live on. I'd also like to acknowledge their elders, past, present and future. So Pride Week is a week where we celebrate all different kinds of people and all different kinds of families. And because it is a special time, I'm going to be wearing my special rainbow scarf. I knitted it myself and it's very long. Are you wearing a rainbow today? They're my favourite. So today we're going to be reading a story called And Tango Makes Three by Richardson and Peter Parnell, illustrated by Henry Cole. It's a story about two daddy penguins and their baby Tango. In the middle of New York, there is a great big park called Central Park. Children love to play there. It has a toy boat pond where they can sail their boats. It has a carousel to ride on in the summer and an ice rink to skate on in the winter. Can you see the carousel there? And the ice rink? I've never been ice skating. It looks like fun. Best of all, it has its very own zoo. Every day, families of all kinds go to visit the animals that live there. I love the zoo. But children and their parents aren't the only families at the zoo. The animals make families of their own. There are red panda bear families with mothers and fathers and furry red panda bear cubs. There are monkey dads and monkey mums raising noisy monkey babies. There are toad families and toucan families and cotton top tamarin families too. Can you see all the different animals there? There's even a peacock down here. And in the penguin house there are penguin families. Every year at the very same time, the girl penguins start noticing the boy penguins, and the boy penguins start noticing the girl penguins. When the right girl and the right boy find each other, they become a couple. Look, they're meeting each other here. Very cute. Two penguins in the penguin house were a little bit different. One was named Roy and the other was named Silo. Roy and Silo were both boys, but they did everything together. They bowed to each other and walked together. They sang to each other and swam together. Wherever Roy went, Silo went too. They didn't spend much time with the girl penguins, and the girl penguins didn't spend much time with them. Instead, Roy and Silo wound their necks around each other. Their keeper, Mr. Gramsci, noticed the two penguins and thought to himself, they must be in love. Look, they're having a bit of a cuddle. Roy and Silo watched how the other penguins made a home, so they built a nest of stones for themselves. Every night, Roy and Silo slept there together, just like the other penguin couples. And every morning, Roy and Silo woke up together. But one day, Roy and Silo saw that the other couples could do something that they could not. The mama penguin would lay an egg. She and the papa penguin would take turns keeping the egg warm until finally it would hatch, and there would be a baby penguin. Look how cute they are, little fluffy babies. Roy and Silo had no egg to sit on and keep warm. They had no baby chick to feed and cuddle and love. Their nest was nice, but it was a little empty. Does it look like they're a bit sad about that? I think it does. One day, Roy found something that looked like what the other penguins were hatching, and he brought it to their nest. It was only a rock, but Silo carefully sat on it, and sat, and sat. When Silo got sleepy, he slept, and when Silo was done sleeping and sitting, he swam and Roy sat. Day after day, Silo and Roy sat on the rock. But nothing happened. Then Mr. Gramsci got an idea. He found an egg that needed to be cared for and he brought it to Roy and Silo's nest. This sounds like a good idea to me. Roy and Silo knew just what to do. They moved the egg to the center of their nest. Every day they turned it so each side stayed warm. Some days, Roy sat while Silo went for food. Other days, it was Silo's turn to take care of the egg. They sat in the morning and they sat at night. They sat through lunchtime and swim time and supper. They sat at the beginning of the month and they sat at the end of the month, and they sat all of the days in between. Until one day they heard a sound coming from inside their egg. Peep, 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 said the egg. Roy and Silo called back. Squawk, squawk. Peep, peep, answered the egg. Suddenly a tiny hole appeared in the eggshell, and then, what do you think's going to happen? Crack! Out came their very own baby. She had fuzzy white feathers and a funny black beak. Now, Roy and Silo were fathers. We'll call her Tango, Mr. Gramsay decided, because it takes two to tango. Roy and Silo taught Tango how to sing for them when she was hungry. They fed her food from their beaks. They snuggled her in their nest at night. Tango was the very first penguin in the zoo to have two daddies. How special. Look how happy they all are. Smiling. Oh, that's very sweet. Soon Tango grew strong enough to leave the nest. Roy and Silo took her for a swim, just like all the other penguin families. And all the children who came to the zoo could see Tango and her two fathers playing in the penguin house with the other penguins. Hooray, Roy! Hooray, Silo! Welcome, Tango! They cheered. At night, the three penguins returned to their nest. There they snuggled together and, like all the other penguins in the penguin house, and all the other animals in the zoo, and like all the families in the big city around them, they went to sleep. And that's the end of the story. And here in the back of the book, we have an author's note that tells us that this is a true story. So this really happened with two daddy penguins at a zoo in New York, which is very special. Thank you for joining me, and happy Pride Week.